Hey everyone, my name is Colin. Welcome back to Warhammer Station. The Space Marine Index is out. We've already got a Tyranids Index review. Um, Space Marine Index is really long. There's a lot to it. I recorded a video, it got to be too long, so this is the second one, and I realized that there's just too much to cover, and it's not. I don't want to do a unit by unit review. I just want to do some of the top rules that are going to be what is going to make Space Marines really do what they do and function really good. Some of the stuff that I think we're going to see on the table and do really well. Okay, first page, Oath of Moment, right? It's going to be what really does stuff and puts a lot of work out for the Marines there. Uh, you can re-roll the hit roll and wound roll. Very powerful. I mean, and Gilliman, I want to get to that. He'll have his own little part in this. He gets to pick 2 units to do that on. It's going to be something. It really is. So these combat doctrines, there's a lot of stuff going on here. They seem really simple at the outset of just doing these few little things. And the Devastator tactical, they're powerful in their own right, but a lot of the stratagems and characters and other abilities have stuff that do different things that make them really powerful, that amp them up in a major way. And I'll cover just a few basic ones of those. Stratagems. We all know and love stratagems and how they work. And, fight on death, improving your arm penetration characteristic if you're in the assault doctrine for Honor of the Chapter. And then if more armor penetration characteristic that improves it for you, right? So really good little things if you're in the Devastator, armor penetration characteristic. If you're in the combat, moving the doctrines around, really good things that you got to watch out for these stratagems. Bolter discipline is the main thing we're going to see with Adeptus Astartes, Space Marines doing stuff that really puts a hurt on their enemy. Sustained hits, getting extra hits, scoring critical hits on a 5+. So those sustained hits are proccing, devastating wounds, lethal hits, anything else is proccing on a 5+. So there's going to be one of these character models out there that is buffing up a shooter unit, probably, that is going to just punish things. Between Oath of Moment and all that other stuff, right? So your captains, they all have real similar abilities. Most of them have this Rites of Battle. They're going to be doing lots of doubling up on stratagems, right? Watch out for that. I mean, it's just going to huge force multiplier that's going to punish things. That's going to be the word of the day, is just receiving lots of incoming fire and stuff going wrong. This captain in Gravis armor is of note. He's real tough. He's the toughest of all of them. He's got a cool refuse to yield ability that makes him tough, but his downside is he can only join these things. So, I mean, what's he going to really do? Sit in a Land Raider or another tank with an aggressor squad, jump out and punch things. Hey, that's a good idea. And he's going to really deliver some stuff. Lots of little things. I like the Terminators. I think they're going to be really well. I like the idea of them coming out of a Land Raider, being able to reroll charge rolls. It's one of the only ones I've seen in this whole index with that capability. And so he might be really cool. Again, lots of little units. Captains all have a lot of similar abilities. The jump pack captains all have some sort of thing that mainly modify. It's not just captain jump. Any jump pack have like really unique abilities, it looks like. The bikes, obviously they move fast, given this assault ability, so they're going to be able to advance and shoot really well. So they're coming up on you. Lieutenants all have a similar ability. Some of them are different, but they're going to impart this lethal hits, right? So on a hit roll of a 6, it's doing the auto wounds. So watch out for that on somebody and who they are going to be able to attach to and do some things to. It's going to, there's potential there, right? Bunch of different lieutenants and all the different armors and basics. All the basic guys, they can take special weapons, right? That other lieutenants can't. That's the theme throughout the firstborns, is they can take all their extra special weapons. Librarians have a bunch of cool abilities that are increase your survivability. And again, I think the Terminator one is where it's at as far as librarians go. The new model looks really cool, and getting sustained hits is just an innate ability that if you give a Terminator squad is going to make it really fun. Plus having feel no pain against psychic attacks is going to be give them some resiliency against those armies that do that. Chaplains, another thing, their basic ability, add 1 to the wound roll for melee attacks. So you're splitting it doesn't, half the time in regards to shooting phase and assault phase, you're losing something there, but it's another body in the squad. It's reducing a battle shock thing, and the Terminator one is really increasing the survivability of your Terminators there against mortal wounds. So in my mind, I'm envisioning a big Terminator squad that is just dishing out a lot of power and is able to survive a lot of stuff, right? The chaplain on a bike, his abilities are okay, but he can only join the bike squads. Before he was a real powerhouse, and now he's kind of not doing much. Let's see what else we have here. Again, the jump pack chaplain, he's dishing out mortal wounds whenever he's in engagement range. That's kind of cool, a hammer or rap type thing. The Tech Marines, I think if the meta is going to be a bunch of tanks, adding in these Tech Marines to do repair these vehicles is going to be fun, and they're not going to be able to be shot at. Plus, when you get to them, they're going to hit you really hard, right? Especially if you proc this ability and they've got 7 attacks. And they've got Primaris Tech Marines, normal Tech Marines, and Servitors go with them if you want. Troops, they're all pretty basic. This Infernus squad, they're strengthen their flamers a little more. Plus with Torrent. Plus you have the ability of, Overwatch taking place in the movement phase. So if somebody has one of these, you got to really watch what you're going to do if you move closer to these guys, because they're going to burn you down. Assault intercessors, a lot of these assault focused things have wound rerolls that are really good. I kind of like the assault stuff myself. Here's your librarian with a jump pack. Melee weapons. Here's your melee weapon modifications in for right there, armor penetration. And so, like I said, these jump pack stuff has some really cool abilities that really hype up your jump pack, whatever it is. Here's your lieutenant with a combi weapon. This is really a Phobos guy. I don't really care for those things. Heavy intercessors, I bet they're going to be expensive, but they're going to be tough to kill, right, if you come across them. I don't know how they're going to work. Infiltrator squad, this is another one we're going to see. Real similar rules to last edition, and that units that show up on reinforcements can't show up within 12 inches of the unit. And so that, having a couple of these really bubbling off a lot of stuff, denying drop pods, denying demons, they're drawing stuff showing up is going to be tough. Incursors, don't know about these guys. What else can we come across that's really, really good here? Lots of little unit things that are just not really exemplary that are cool on paper, but don't have that much going on with them, it seems like. So this one you can give your apothecary is bringing stuff back. That's really good. And if your bodyguard is dead, you can gain some command points. And he attaches to this Desolation Squad. So that's a character that you can give that bolt gun enhancement to and start really, if those guys die, you can bring them back. And is given that abilities to give out, what was that, additional hits with that enhancement. It's going to be crazy. Apothecary Biologist, he sounds cool, but you can't be attached. Like putting him with an aggressor squad is probably going to be good. I'm envisioning like an aggressor squad with this guy and a captain really doing some stuff out there. That's going to be, again, punishing. Ancients, they might be okay. I'm not exactly sure. Probably this guy, the Blade Guard Ancient, or the Terminator Ancient is what we'd see most with what they do that improve hit rolls. So I think that'll be a lot of fun. Blade Guard Veteran Squad, I think we're going to see a bunch of. They hit really hard with their close combat weapons. They can have some enhancements or improvements as far as rerolling hits or rerolling their own invols. But really they're going to be is supplements for the Justicar, which we'll get to in just a moment. Command Squad's okay. Vanguard Veteran Squad, they've been pretty well gutted. Let's see what else here. Stern Guard, I know some characters, they can shoot really well, but they're still not as good as they once were. Oh, this is what it is. They can shoot twice if they kill somebody, once per battle. So that could potentially be really well. Put some combi weapons on this, do some really damage to something or another, and then just turn and fire and obliterate whatever else it is. Here's the Judicar, right? I think I said that wrong, Justicar. Judicar. So his deal is fights first. This is going to be so powerful. You put some stuff in with that Blade Guard squad, and this guy is going to pop out of a Land Raider. This guy and a captain and whatever else pop out of a Land Raider and just really lay some stuff down on whatever they touch, because they're going to hit whatever it is. They're going to do a lot of damage. Hopefully that's your Oath of Moment unit, and just annihilate some stuff. Reaver Squad, they're okay. Aggressors, it seems like they don't shoot as much as anymore, but they're going to be wounding pretty good with their twin linked, right? Flamestorm seem better than the auto Bolt Storm, right? But they also have their grenade launcher, and Power Fist. I bet they're all right. And the improving the armor penetration characteristic is where it's going to be at, right? But even then, the aggressors popping out with a Gravis Armor Captain, maybe something else to give them an extra buff. That lethal hits thing, or more hits, is going to be better. Terminator Assault Squad, they look okay. I mean, they got a lot of attacks, but I really think they're outshined by just your basic Terminator Squad by being able to shoot and have some close combat capability with their Power Fists. Or a power weapon. I mean, but I'd rather take a Power Fist. They do 2 damage, right? You can also throw a Assault Cannon on one of them that's got the devastating wounds and more shots. Throw Cyclone Missile Launchers, Storm Bolters, Rapid Fire 2. So in 12 inches, they're shooting 4 shots, showing up and being able to proc this ability, and improving their hit roll. So, I mean, it's just these guys with other characters mixed in. An ancient, a captain, a librarian, a chaplain in there. They're gonna be, that's your Death Star, right? Relic Terminators, they look really cool, but they don't have the teleport homer ability, so I'm kind of doubt we're going to see many of these guys. Centurions, I'm scared of them because of their toughness 7. They're going to be hard to move. They're going to shoot really hard, hit really hard. I mean, get some improvement characteristics on these things, and they're just gonna, word of the day, punish people. Same with the shooty guys, long range, hellfire coming down. This Invictor tactical warsuit, I like the looks of him because he had of this twin Iron Hell autocannon. And yeah, cool abilities all around if you're doing some Phobos stuff. Right. Dreadnoughts, they're legacy now, not really much to do with the basic ones. I mean, they got some cool abilities as far as against vehicles and stuff. Some of their basic guns are okay, but it's almost like if you're going to take one of these old Dreadnoughts for a few points more, you can get one of these Redemptors. You know, they got AP -4 on this supercharged macroplasma incinerator. The heavy onslaught Gatling cannon has 12 shots with devastating wounds. It's going to be a real source for mortal wounds out there, right? And they're going to be tough. Toughness 10, still move faster, and they're taking less damage. And I mean, there's not a bad chassis for this Primaris style Dreadnought. The Brutalis has these Brutalis talons that are going to rip things apart. Plus, they got these multi-melta nipples that and mortal wounds that they're putting out. It's any one of these guys is not going to go down without a fight, right? The Ballistic Dreadnought, same thing. Reroll the hit roll below half strength, and just really pushing out some damage from the shooting phase, and not too bad, not too shabby when it comes down to being in close combat. So yeah, assault squad with jump packs. Again, maybe something you can get something out of these guys with their chain swords. Get some extra AP on there. That'd be nice. Outrider squads, a cool thing that you can do is have the ATV, or in the bike squads have the attack bikes attached to them, and they're going to have these a few lesser shots on their onslaught Gatling cannons. So, you know, especially with this Oath of Monin ability out there, you know, if you have that unit, that you have a bunch of different units with these Gatling cannons out there that just putting down tons and tons of shots against that reroll hits and wounds thing. Maybe you got some lethal hits in there, and it's going to put some real damage on something with just a saturation of fire, because there's multiple sources of these Gatling cannons. Bikes or something, I mean, they move fast, they're kind of tough. Okay, Suppressor Squad, they're going to be really something. You can take 3 to a unit, and this suppression fire, where you subtract 1 from the hit roll against things, like think about guard or something if they're hitting on 4s. Think about orcs. They're not going to do much anymore with their shooting. You're going to really reduce their effectiveness a lot. Or something has like a really clutch shot, shooting this, and all you got to do is hit it and make it have a way worse chance. You know, 1 pip on a dice makes it a big deal to not hit something. You know, you're going from a 66% chance to a 50% chance, and having that 16% is a big deal. Inceptor squads, this ability, meteoric descent, with this plasma thing, that's your assassin unit right there. Plop it down, kill some ARIA weakened unit with that Oath of Monin ability is going to be a game changer. It really is. All your speeders have some sort of ability that improve armor penetration characteristics. If they just hit stuff, monster vehicles or entry, it depends on which model it is, but I think we're going to see a bunch of these things. You're taking cover away, you're taking improving wound rolls. It's improving armor penetration characteristic. It's no joke on these things. Really watch out for them. The basic speeders are okay. I think I'd rather upgrade to one of those ones that modifies and improves what I'm shooting at. Hellblasters, they're not as good as they once were. I mean, they can shoot that plasma incinerator, but I mean, for the points, have those jump pack versions come in and smoke whatever it is. Eliminator squads, they got the long range, high damage shots. And so, you know, I'd take these over the basic scouts any day, given what between marking targets and being able to move in and out of cover and whatnot. Eradicators, they have a lot less range, and they're going to be wounding a lot of vehicles on 5s, but their total obliteration is going to help with that. Throw in Oath of Moment, and they could be actually really good, right? Devastator squads, some of this other stuff, it might be really, really good, some of their special abilities. Desolation squad, this is going to be one of the major things that you see in here that is going to be pushing out a lot of stuff. There's already a lot of discussion, but between this Castellan, Super Frag, Vinger Launcher, sustained hits, lethal hits, all these, you know, the having that crit with that apothecary in here is going to be, I've already said it too many times, this little post, I think we're going to see that a bunch. 2 or 3 of these squads in a unit. Thunder Cannon, why you'd want to take this is the Tremor Shells. We talked about this in the Tyranids video. Subtract 2 from that unit's move characteristic. Advance and charge rolls. So 1 or 2 of these might be in the mix. That really restricts one of those faster armies, because all you have to do is hit. Fire Strike, and some of this other stuff. A lot of this stuff is a trade-off game that, you know, you only got one real fancy shot with this stuff, and it's just not worth taking a whole big model for however many points it's going to be. It's just whatever. You know, like the Whirlwind, you're going to pay this much points just to force a battle shock test. Whatever. The Predator Destructor is looking really good. If you're shooting infantry, you're improving your arm penetration characteristic. So that means with your Lads Cannon, high chance you're shooting 6 shots. AP 2, 3 damage, Strength 9. A bunch of different 6 heavy bolter shots. End up AP 2, 2 damage apiece. I don't think, you know, throw Sergeant Cronus in here. I think that's going to be a really powerful deal. One thing this Predator Twin Lads Cannon has is Strength 14. That's 2 points of strength over it, so that might be help with against Titans and whatnot. Well, until you get to this Gladiator, and its big laser destroyer is Strength 14 as well with longer range. So with being able to re-roll damage, that, you know, you might take that before one of those other Predators. Again, here's this Gladiator Reaper with the twin heavy onslaught Gatling cannon. So not only can you re-roll wounds, but you got the devastating wounds, so that it's pushing some major damage through. I can almost see let's running 2 or 3 of these things. I think it's going to be tough. I have a hard time seeing why you'd want to take this Gladiator over that one that does devastating wounds, right? Vindicators had a major glow up. Demolisher cannon, D6 plus 3 shots. D6 damage, strength 14. It's going to do some major things out there. Plus, it has this really good rule to shoot in engagement phase or shoot out of it. And I don't want to be on the receiving end of that. Land Raiders, all the variants had this assault ramp rule. All the guns are really good, and their transport capacity is buffed. Being able to transport so many things that they couldn't before, between jump packs, Gravis, and Centurion stuff. I really do think we're going to see more Land Raiders. This is going to be the Land Raider edition. And of note here also on this Crusader and Redeemer variant, not only do you have the higher transport capacities, but the twin assault cannon is going to be over there. It's a lot lesser shots than those bigger tanks, is going to be something that you want to take a look at. Repulsors, They don't have the assault ramp, but they carry just as much stuff. And then, hey, look, a heavy onslaught Gatling cannon with devastating wounds. There you go. 12 shots, that many. That means you'll hopefully get 2 or 3 sixes out of that. And that devastating wounds thing is just going to be something else with Oath of Moment. Or if your meta has more bigger monsters or something like that, take the one with the heavy destroyer. And strength 16, it doesn't get much better than that. 2 shots, d6 plus 4 damage, you get up to 10 damage a shot on that. I think that's really good. Plus it has a heavy onslaught Gatling cannon too, with a reduced transport capacity. Rhinos, I think they're going to be really good with the ability to disembark out of moving, taking your basic tactical squads with getting some shots out of there, line them up so you can't really have stuff assault you back. Razorbacks will be good with their little shots, and pulsers I'm not sure about because of Phobos stuff. I really do think drop pods will be good, being that they're not counted towards their maximum number of reserves, and they can come in on your first, second, or third movement phase regardless of mission rules. So maybe like your Stern Guard with an HQ is, or your Blade Guard veterans popping out of this thing. Being able to sit there for a minute or doing something like that is really fun. Landspeeder Storm, that's your one with the transport capacity. The Flyers, I don't really care about. I don't think they're have that much damage output or the ability to move really well. Skip those. One thing with Storm Raven, you could carry a Dreadnought in there. So maybe putting a Primaris Dreadnought might be worth it. Hammerfall Bunker, still whatever. Okay, now we're at the characters. A lot of these are just kind of basic. I don't know much about them. I don't really play Space Marines. They're real limited on what units they can join. They kind of make it tough. Marnius Calgar, I think, is going to be really good because you can put him with a Blade Guard veteran squad. He's going to hit like a truck. He's going to give some extra command points. And just he's going to be so tough, so hard to kill. Cronus would be fun to put in the tank. Telion, I think, falls in the trap of that character assassin thing. Tyrannic War Veterans, or whatever. Unorthodox Strategist, this ability seems really cool. But, given the choice of other characters, I'd rather have other stuff. Gilliman, we got to spend a minute on him. He's going to be, obviously, a Primarch, moves halfway decent, going to hit amazing, going to really put a hurt on whatever he touches, but he doesn't have the Fight First ability. So that's kind of strange. He's out there by himself. He's got to be around stuff for people to not shoot, for enemies to not shoot at him. And he can come back to life. But this Master of Battle is really what you're going to take him for. 2 different units can have their Oath of Moment ability basically exist against it. And then if you're not doing that, it's just also the Supreme Strategist, kind of like all the other ones have, all the other captains have. But this Master of Battle is where it's at. Some of these other characters, Lysander, if you're running Imperial Fist, is going to be put a thorn in somebody's side, and he hits really hard as well. Some of these characters, they're just okay. Depending on what points they are, they're once per battle proc, or only for the unit that they're leading. It's kind of like diminishing from before. Like he's going in a tactical squad. Like Pedro's going to live in a Stern Guard veteran squad, right? And he's only going to affect that squad. So that's great for that squad, but you need more stuff going on, I think, than that. The Iron Father's going to be tough to kill, but he just can't join. These characters can't join much that do a whole bunch, right? That's right. You're running an assault army, but none of this stuff's going to have battle line. It's just tough. It's just really tough. Same with Vulcan and the Salamanders, guys. I mean, they just don't affect a bunch of stuff. I mean, the Watch Parts character isn't on a bike. You know, you can't. He's just moving 6 inches, whatever he's going to be with, which isn't much. I mean, maybe you put these guys in a drop pod so you can have them in the game. But yeah, that's the notable units in this index. Some strategies. I think is going to be a good synergy between Blade Guard veterans and buff characters versus Desolation squads and some buff characters. And then maybe some of those special land speeders, you know, dishing out all the different debuffs out there that they can do is what I think a list. And then, you know, depends on how much all these points things are. It's really something that is going to be neat out there. And whether you should take Gilliman or not, he's going to be really powerful no matter how you look at it. Oh, and a second strategy is having all those Gatling cannons out there, at the moment, and then some of the other things just really turning out, putting down some buffs or debuffs out there. I think is where it's going to be at. Devastating wounds, twin link devastating wounds. Being able to reroll the wound roll just built in is I wouldn't say over the top. It's going to be something that has to be accounted for. When you're going to attack these tanks that have those devastating wounds that are twin linked, you're going to have to put something punishing on them to make sure that they die. Because if not, they're just going to point that gun right into combat or right everywhere it's at and remove the threat. So with that, y'all, thanks for watching this video. I hope I covered enough. I hope the advice is good. Let me know down in the comments. Throw me a subscribe. Hit that notification bell. All the YouTuber things. You know, I'm new to this, so it's kind of different for me to say all these stuff. But you know, Warhammer Station Media Community, we have a lot of other pages. If you like Star Wars, we got pages for that. If you like Harry Potter, we got stuff for that. This is a growing community. Check out what we have in the Discord. Check out what we got going on. It's so much fun, everything that we're doing. We love to engage with the community. Join us out there, and y'all have a great day. And looking forward to see y'all at different events here during 10th edition. Thank you so much.